do have coming in confirmed reports of nuclear detonations.
My God. Our soldiers were right. War. War never changes.
Let's go, pal.
Hello, every wasteland buddy. Well, why don't we mess around in the Fallout 4 trailer for a little while, and then we'll hop into my Fallout 3. And, you know, it's kind of funny, if you look at some of the footage of the trailer, a lot of the visuals look pretty much the same as my E&B with, you know, my Fallout 3 with E&B. In fact, like right here, like right about here, that's my Fallout 3. With E and B and full shadows and all that stuff. I mean, it essentially looks the same as mine, which is funny. Which means it'll only be a matter of time before we can make Fallout 4 look even better than out of the box, right? That looks a little cheesy. That looks like just like a boring 3D model, doesn't it? Now, we'll go through and dissect the scene one scene at a time. How's that? And then I'll watch the chat room, and then I'll try to answer any questions. I'm not going to be all that good because I honestly have only been to Boston once. And just a minute. Everyone just leaves the door open. Yeah. So you're going to hear a lot of screaming and squealing and stomping and kids like running around. You're just going to have to focus on my voice. So let's do that, okay? Just focus on me. Don't worry about... I'll try to fix my living situation pretty soon, but for now, you know, it's all I've got. I mean, I can't really complain because, you know, it's either this or nothing. All right, so let's see. Let's go into the chat room. Let's see who's here. Whoa, 18 people. Okay. Let's go. Why don't we just dissect the scene 1 second at a time, okay? And I'm going to try to go as in-depth as I can. And I know that people have already done it. There's already channels all over YouTube that have done it, but I'm just going to do it real time. How's that? And then I'll publish this Twitch channel. I'll publish this video later on. How's that? Yeah, Dog Meat 2.0. I'm going to try my best to follow along with the chat, but let's see how it goes, okay? Hey, that works out pretty well. I put my phone right in front of me. Okay, let me fix this a little bit, and then we'll start the trailer over. Now remember, guys, everyone who's joining now, just so you know, I have a big Fallout 3 walkthrough on my channel. It's 213 videos and counting. Got a gigantic Fallout New Vegas walkthrough with all 4 of the DLC packs. That's over 400 Fallout New Vegas videos. But my Fallout 3 walkthrough looks almost practically just as good as the visuals in this trailer. So we're going to play it in a little while, but let's dissect the trailer first. Remember, this trailer was teased by Pete Hines and Todd Howard ahead of the E3 conference. They're doing like their first ever press conference at E3, and I don't know why they let the cat out of the bag so early. I think it's because they knew there was going to be leaks, or there were already leaks. They detected leaks, so they figured out, hell, let's just get it out. I'm just fixing the window a little bit, and then we're starting. Hang on. We're almost there. Whoops. That's not right. Okay, let's. I'm trying to. Yeah, OBS doesn't. You crackheads. Just a minute. I have to get. There we go. There we go. And then I can select the region. You're kind of watching me fix this window real time, so you can get an idea of how OBS operates. There, that's good. That's what I wanted. Der. Und der. There we go. Yeah, that's really good. And do you want me to shrink my face? Hopefully my head won't be in the way. If it is, I'll just like whoosh, I'll just move it out of the way somewhere. Okay. I don't have a particularly good looking head, so if it's annoying, then I'll just turn it off. Okay, ready? Da, da, da. Oh, this is the first scene. Let's see. May contain content inappropriate for children. Oh my god, that's a first. No. Actually, this is they're going into the market with an 18 plus rating. So this is going to be like a Peggy 18 game. So all those Australian government officials that banned it because there were drugs in the game, there's going to be drugs. There will be drugs, just like there will be blood. Okay, I'll turn up the sound a little bit. Okay, please stand by. Yeah, this is the same first slide. It's the intro slide in Fallout 3. A lot of people wondered about the Indian, what the Indian's doing up there. That's actually a typical icon in a test frame for both film and slideshows. It actually pops up a lot, especially back in the 60s and 70s. I remember that Indian being in all the, or Native, I shouldn't say Indian, Native American, in a lot of these slideshows that our teachers would show us back in the early 70s. Okay, there, and stop. Okay, now we're going to dissect this. Let's start with the video, and then we'll talk about the audio too. So yeah, Radiation King. It's the same. It's a similar. Actually, it is almost the same model as the Radiation King TV in Fallout 3. There was a model like this, but it didn't have its own stand. I think it was usually just on a table, if I'm not mistaken. Nuclear-powered car, rusted. We're seeing probably the Massachusetts wasteland. We don't know what it's going to be called yet. Probably the Commonwealth, right? The Commonwealth, or whatever. The Boston Conurbation, which Fallout New Vegas called New Vegas, the New Vegas Conurbation. Maybe this is the Boston Conurbation. Yeah, this popped up. This has been in Fallout 3. In fact, a lot of these assets, they're reusing a lot of them. They maybe just updated them. This hutch is new. No, it's like an old record. It's a turntable, isn't it? Yep, it is a turntable. I didn't notice that before. Who's theirs? It's a picture of a mother and father with their baby. Look. And the baby is probably the protagonist, maybe. Look down here. There's a comic book. It's called Blast Radius. That's cute. It must be a comic strip because I see a dog and a boy. See? A boy and his dog. By the way, there is a movie called A Man and His Dog, and it's actually What's His Butt. And it's a post-apocalyptic film. A Man and His Dog, a Boy and His Dog. And that actually is partly the inspiration for the protagonist having a dog whose name was Dogmeat in Fallout 3. anything else we can? Yeah, so there's a lot more detail now. Look, like broken windows that you can, that translucent broken windows, and moss and foliage overgrowth. I like that. We didn't have that in. Oh my God! Real cloth effects. Imagine that. It might be in the NVIDIA cloth effects. Okay, did you see what just happened? Look again. It's exactly what I. It's exactly what I wanted. Wouldn't it be nice for at least part of the game to have taken place in 2077? And it looks like there will be parts of the game where you get to see. It might be flashbacks. It might be a simulation. You know, there's tends to be a lot of simulations in Fallout franchise. Or you might actually be able to play yourself as like a baby in 2077. You get to see all of that furniture I just talked about before it was all destroyed. So there's your turntable. There's some little lattice work right here. Isn't that cute? And then there's the mommy, daddy, baby picture. Oh, there it is, Blast Radius. It's a game. It's a board game. Look at that. Blast Radius. And then there's a skill book, or what we call it, a magazine, probably Guns and Bullets, maybe? I don't know. Well, actually, that's a Mr. Gutsy, or a Handy Man, whatever you call it. Mr. Handy. Scotch. Whiskey. Oh, Zigaretten. There's my Zigaretten. I was wondering if there was Zigaretten. Okay, and now back to 22, probably 2290 or 2300 maybe, I don't know. Let's see, so there's the hutch, so there's the first appearance of the dog, or Doge. It's a German Shepherd. It's a different dog than dog meat. It's not dog meat. It could be, yeah, dog meat 2.0, right? Oh my God, I'm getting... So yeah, this dog will be a either a follower or possibly even a second protagonist. If you notice in The Witcher 3, which was just released, you're able to alternate your control between Geralt and a few others. You can actually play Ciri, which is the female Witcher, without the mutagens. She didn't take the mutagens, so she really is like a full human, but just with a lot of Witcher training, like swordsmanship training. And that suggests that all these AAA developers know that they need multiple controllable characters. You know, like Rockstar did that with Grand Theft Auto 5. In fact, but they do it so crazily that you kind of lose track of the storyline because you're controlling so many people. Okay, just a minute. Let me pop in. So I have to kind of switch between the video, I mean, you know, this trailer and the chat, because I want to see what you guys are saying. Do I need to moderate anyone, or how's everyone doing? Sonic 0731 is in here, and Chavez TK is in here, so you guys can moderate if you need to. By the way, Chavez TK gave me the copy of Dying Light, and Sonic 0731 gave me the copy of Grand Theft Auto 5. And by the way, the Witcher 3 game that I'm playing right now on my channel is gifted by DCM I Hate Pie. So a lot of these guys are gifting me the follow, you know, all these different games that I'm playing. I have to get Nightbot in here. It looks like we need some automatic moderation, so just give it a second. Nightbot will come in just a second. There it is. Okay, there we go. Okay, sorry I didn't have a... yeah, well, I did actually. I played the trailer once already, Calypso 098. So let's kind of charge through it for a little while, and then we'll listen to the whole. We'll watch the whole thing again, and then I'll turn my ugly face off too. Okay, so this German Shepherd is obviously going to be a big follower, a very important character in the franchise. Well, in this Fallout 4, and it certainly was called Fallout 4, just like most of us hoped. Now take a look at. Whoops! I wanted to go back a second. There we go. This is a robotic kitchen assistant. I didn't see those before. It'd be cool if you could actually see these operating in 2077, just before the war. Here's a bread box deal. The refrigerator's got a overhaul. Those look pretty cool, don't they? Okay, now watch this. It's my favorite treat. Sugar bombs. In fact, I have to go back up to the ghoul in North Seneca Station and give him all of his sugar bombs. He just wants those sugar bombs. There's a ghoul in North Seneca Station that makes Ultra Jet, which is a super refined version of Jet, and he needs sugar bomb. He wants those sugar bombs.
We've got some breaking news. Stand by.
The host or the DJ on the radio is Ron Perlman. That's Ron Perlman's voice. We just don't know exactly, how much of a role he has. He'll probably, Ron Perlman has been in all 5 of the Fallout games so far. And I say 5, meaning I think that includes this one. So there's Fallout 8, there's Fallout 2, there's Fallout Brotherhood of Steel, I think. Then there's Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, and then Fallout 4. And he's been in all of them. He's narrated the intro and the multiple outros of most of them. Okay, there. Let's stop. There's the 200-year-old version of the sugar bombs that the robot was carrying. There's the milk bottle. We've seen that. Oh, that's a new model. It's a pepper mill. Woo! Salt shaker and pepper mill. Oh my God! I know you guys probably get bored looking at every little detail, but every little detail helps. It kind of helps to bring out some more of the lore in the game. There's the radio. That's a very common model. By the way, some of these models might be updated. Maybe they just used a lot of the existing Fallout 3 assets just to stick it into the trailer, but maybe they're still working on a lot of this. In fact, I've noticed that the Dogmeat 2.0, let's call him that right now, he doesn't have the NVIDIA Hairworks going on, see? It's just kind of a model without the individual hairs moving. See? There's the board. Oh, it's a globe, actually, in the corner. So, I like the kits, the house kits, or what we call the model kits in 3D animation and modeling. The modeling kits, the kit models got an update. What's that? Mr. Handy, the incredible multi-talented Mr. Handy. Oh, it comes in a box. Isn't that cool? I didn't notice that either. Mr. Handy in a box. You just go to the Super Duper Mart, pick up a Mr. Handy, and it flies out of the box and starts cooking pancakes. Hey, XMR Crimson, what's up? The Crafting Gamer X. And by the way, all you guys who are in the channel right now, remember I have a big YouTube channel. 13.5 million views, almost 45,000 subscribers. I'm much bigger on YouTube than I am on Twitch. I appreciate everyone that's in the stream right now, but if you could go to my YouTube channel and subscribe to me. Here, I'm going to type it in really quick. youtube.com/Culveyhouse. There it is. There's a lot of new faces in here today, so some of you might not know who I am. Usually the people in the chat room are people who are very familiar with me and my channel.
We seem to have lost contact with our affiliate stations.
Okay, now let's see. We flash back to 2077 again. How do I know it's 2077? Well, just wait 10 seconds and I'll prove it. Now take a look. There's the Nuka-Cola truck, and there's the the little alphabet blocks that were in the beginning of Fallout 3. There's a little baby shaker, a noisemaker. There's a little carousel. I don't remember a carousel in Fallout 3. Actually, I think I did have a carousel when we started out as baby.
Stand by.
So that was the mother and father, and they were cradling a baby.
Patience.
See?
Stand by.
Right there. And the baby is probably the
You
protagonist.
have
Little doggy. So that's kind of showing that the dog has a decent level of intelligence and be able to keep you alive. Maybe, maybe not. Okay, let's stop for a second. What the hell? What is this? Watch theirs. Don't tell me it's a squirrel on a stick. I think it is. It's a squirrel on a stick. Well, somebody took this house over. It didn't last very long. It probably ate the squirrel on a stick and then died. There's the lamp. There's the carousel. Broken carousel.
You do have coming in.
I don't know if that's a squirrel on a stick or not. Look at all the exposed plumbing. I like that. They got an upgrade. Hey, look at that. Could that be Point Lookout? It could be a picture of Point Lookout. Maybe. Or maybe it's a picture of a lighthouse near the Boston Harbor. It could be that. That's probably more likely it. Yeah. Okay, so now the dog's running out.
Reports of
We're going to analyze everything in this video. So, we're about halfway through it already. So, we're going pretty fast through it.
your detonation.
We'll get a better shot at the robotic kitchen aid. Look at that. That's cool, huh? I don't know what this is. And let's see. Ooh, okay, now we pop out into a neighborhood, a waste hood. And here's the mailbox has got an upgrade. Look at that. Like metal mailbox, wrought iron mailboxes. That's odd. Look at the high tension power lines. And they're intact. Look, the high tension power lines are intact, and they still have all of the lines that are also intact, and they're still high tension. So we might
My God.
talk about that in a second. Okay, anything to notice here? Yes. So there's the Vertibird. It's the U.S. government's one of their aircraft. It's a vertical takeoff and landing, or a variable pitch or variable angle system, much like the Harrier jet. But it's got propellers that move instead of turbines, which is odd. In fact, they might be turboprops. They're actually two turboprops with variable angle of attack. Okay, let's take a look. Atomic powered cars. All these are atomic. I think all of them are atomic powered. Yeah, see? Atomic engines just waiting to blow up, right? Did you notice whether the trees were swaying? They aren't. They're just staying in place. Now, they're going to have to fix that. I think they'll use Speed Tree again. They use Speed Tree. Also, The Witcher 3 used Speed Tree. A lot of games use Speed Tree to help with their foliage. The realistic tree swaying and such. But I don't see any movement here, so they have to upgrade that. See, they're not done with the game, of course. In fact, judging from what is not done yet, they reused a lot of the Fallout 3 assets to stick in this trailer, and I think it's because they still have a lot of work to do. I don't think it's going to be 2015. Probably be released in 2016, probably like March, April, and I'll tell you why I think that in a moment. There's a couple of other reasons why I think that. Also, keep in mind that, we have shadows. We have real shadows and we have God rays. So you don't need to, I've got God rays and I've got shadows in Fallout 3, but it's because I have a bunch of mods installed. So I have E&B Extreme Graphics, like a good 20 mods or so, and then a lot of my own tweaks. But now we don't have to do that because we got it. We got volumetric shadows, volumetric fog, God rays, full dynamic shadows.
So right.
Yeah, I don't see, the leaves weren't moving at all. See, I think they've got a lot of work to do. Look at that. There's your God rays. They're all. The meteorological term is called crepuscular rays. How do I know all this? Hey, I happen to be a pilot. I happen to be a private pilot, single engine land, and I had to take 3 meteorology courses, so I know all these terms. I mean, it's not like I'm smart or anything. I just remember. I tend to remember a lot of stuff when I'm in class. Okay, so you see now it pops back to the same scene, but it's 2077, and this is near the entrance to a vault. So all the people of the neighborhood who could afford a place in the vault are now scrambling to the vault because they know that the end is near. Oh, look at that. Okay, the tree is swaying. Okay, in this particular scene, the tree is swaying. There it is. Okay, we've got speed tree. My God, we got real foliage. All right, now there, Vault 111. It's a new vault. Never heard of it before. Let me find out a little bit more about Vault 111 in the lore itself. I haven't had a chance to do this. Nope. Previously unannounced. I mean, previously totally untouched Vault 111. I was afraid that they were going to use one of the Vault 94, which is what the mod that I'm working on. I'm working on, Culveyhouse is working on Vault 94. I was afraid that they would do that, but nope. No, the Craft Gamer X, it won't be 2017. It'll be 2016 most likely. And that's exactly what I mentioned in my Fallout 4 No Bull episodes. For those guys who have just joined now, guys and gals, I'm the one who did the Fallout 4 No Bull series. Episode 1 has 280,000 views. So I didn't really spend too much time on that, but And then I decided to stop because there were too many rumors to keep up with, and they were all a bunch of nonsense. Okay, look at that. Now this particular scene looks a little goofy. It looks a little forced, like a 3D model, like it's not real for some reason. Okay, look behind. The vault kits, the model, the interior kits got an update. Hopefully, now keep in mind that Pete Hines and Todd Howard had both said that this is going to be the biggest game that Bethesda has ever worked on. So, Bethesda Game Studios. So this will absolutely be bigger than Fallout 3, much bigger than Fallout New Vegas, and even bigger than Skyrim. So imagine just how diverse and just how much stuff they packed into Skyrim. Fallout 4 is going to have even more stuff. So this is probably just one of at least 10 vaults, maybe even 15 vaults. That would be nice. In Fallout 3, I think there were only 7 vaults. And then in Fallout New Vegas, there were only 6. Yeah. Okay, this is new. The entrance to one of the vaults near the Boston conurbation has a topside hatch. Interesting, huh? Okay, there we go. Now we get our first hint that it's actually taking place in Boston. Okay, this is Bunker Hill. Let me now I have to admit I don't know all that much about Bunker Hill. Let's find out what this is so I can be coherent about it. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, Bunker Hill is this place in Boston, very historical site. And it's a monument. It looks, at first, before it panned all the way out, it looks somewhat similar to the model they used, the 3D model they used for Washington Monument. And in my E&B, the Washington Monument looks just as good as this. In fact, I'd say it looks even better. But, the the Bunker Hill Monument, it's not nearly as tall as the Washington Monument, but at least it's there. It's going to be one of the more recognizable landmarks in the Boston or the Commonwealth. Because, by the way, the Commonwealth, which was alluded to many times in New Vegas and in Fallout 3, is an area somewhere around Boston where a lot of new technology is released, or technology is researched and released. So, including androids, like real automatons that look like humans. So this is obviously going to be, I'm sure it's going to be a big part of the game, the Commonwealth. And that's where Mr. Zimmer came from. Mr. Zimmer appeared in Fallout 3 at Rivet City looking for his android. And what was the android's name? I think it was A321. Yes, it was. Because I have his rifle. I freed the android, and then I killed Mr. Zimmer, and then the android gave me his plasma rifle, and it's called A321 plasma rifle. Hey, I know my lore, don't I? I may not know Boston very well, but I know my Fallout lore. And then next to the Bunker Hill Monument is another. I don't know what this is. Please, someone tell me what this is. I have to figure out the name of it now. Well, it's actually it's the museum right next to the monument, obviously. Right? Yes, it's the Bunker Hill Museum. Interesting. And it looks very similar to the real Bunker Hill Museum as it stands right now. In fact, I'm looking at it. It's actually called the Lodge, but it's the museum now. And it looks similar. Yeah, it looks very similar to the real life lodge. It's 18th century or 19th century construction. Yeah. It's amazing. Okay, so let's keep moving along. Oh yeah, Drums Are Cool 100. He wonders what platform I recommend for Fallout 4. Well, obviously the PC, because that's going to be where you'll be able to take advantage of the best mods. So Fallout 4 will be definitely moddable. Like that, it's something that Bethesda always does. It makes their games moddable. And I'm definitely going to be adding some mods to Fallout 4. Okay, so here's another scene. This is the USS Constitution, but it looks like it got some... it looks like it got a turbine overhaul. These are actually turbines, and I don't know what that... It looks like it's turned into an airship. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But maybe, just maybe, there's flotation devices. There's like a lighter than air, like a dirigible installation inside. Maybe that's what's going on. And a dirigible is something that's lighter than air and something that rises. So a dirigible is, and in fact I'll spell it for you if you want to research it. USS Constitution, probably converted into a dirigible for whatever reason. And the USS Constitution is on display, and I think you can tour it in Boston. Let's find out exactly where you would do that. Constitution in Boston. In fact, it's a museum. The USS Constitution is docked. And I don't know exactly where it is right now, but... It's docked on Pier 2000 present day. There it is. I can't tell. I can't figure out which port it's docked on, but yeah, it looks like it's. Well, it's definitely like right there in Boston, and then there's a museum attached to it. Last year, and I remember this, it set out onto the Boston Harbor for her fifth and final voyage of 2014. La la la, and now I think it's being renovated, and it won't take another cruise until 2018. So that's the real USS Constitution, and then. It says a special ceremony was held aboard the ship to celebrate its 217th birthday. And on May 18th, which was just 2 weeks ago, it entered Dry Dock 1 in Charlestown Navy Yard to begin a 3-year restoration program. So it's actually undergoing restoration right now, which is interesting. I mean, obviously they're not attaching balloons and rockets to it, but kind of fun to draw parallels to what's happening with the USS Constitution in real life, huh? So that's it. Okay, now we have this another neighborhood in Boston that was actually, it's still there, but it's not the same neighborhood. Let me find out. What it is. Just a second. Give me 1 second and I'll pull it up. Sorry, I was talking to my cousin. He's also a big gamer, and also getting into game development. I'm trying to find out more about this this neighborhood. Just hang on. Yeah, it's called... Yeah. Hang on. I've almost got it. Scully Square. That's what it was called. So it's kind of hard to see from here, but it does say Scully. It's Scully Square. And, admittedly, again, like I was saying, I'm not very familiar with Boston landmarks and neighborhoods, but this is an old neighborhood that was like a big district. It was kind of like a retail district, and then it was demolished. It was actually literally wiped off the face of Boston, and then it was renovated, or it was repurposed or reappropriated for. It was more now. It's more like an office building, like an office complex. And there is a subway entrance there. Oh, yeah, we haven't even seen any kind of subway entrances or any subway footage yet, and I don't think it even appears in the trailer. Okay, so let's keep going just a little bit more. Who is this? It's the Mysterious Stranger. It's a perk in Fallout 3. I don't remember if it's in Fallout 2 or not. But anyway, the Mysterious Stranger often appears with a magnum, and he'll finish off your dirty work if you're unable to finish it. Sometimes it's only got like a 10% chance of him magically appearing, and then he vanishes right after the battle's over. But I mean, I can only assume. I can't imagine what else this guy would be. He could be like a neutral character, right, or a karma neutral character. Memory Den, perhaps an explorable place. Look. Fire plumbing, or water plumbing. Pathetic excuse for a stoplight, but it's there. So it looks like this is one of the districts. I would gander that Boston will have many districts to explore, this Scully Square being one of them. Okay, there. Now we're to the next one. Take a look at this. There's the Brahmin. There's the Brahmin bullocks. It's a beast of burden. It appears slightly differently in the Wasteland in New Vegas and in Fallout 3, but that usually means it's part of a caravan with a scavenger or a trader that you can trade with, or maybe you can hire your own. Maybe there's your way to deal with over-encumbrance. You know how often I'm over-encumbered, so if you can actually conscript a Brahmin, then that's the first thing I'm going to do, so I'm not constantly slogging around with 300 pounds of junk in Sikahetten. Okay, we have to go back. We haven't fully covered all this yet. So you see there's a lot of mountains, which doesn't make sense. I mean, Boston is fairly flat. Massachusetts is mostly flat. Definitely no mountains like this, barren mountains. But keep in mind that the excuse for the capital wasteland suddenly having these huge mountain ranges is that the nukes that dropped shifted the ground, and it caused faults to open up, and it actually stimulated existing faults to start earthquakes. So that was their excuse, but it's actually not a very plausible excuse for mountains popping up. It just doesn't make sense. Okay, so anyway, and there's your power station. See, there's these are high tension power lines with power towers, and those appear to be operating like they're functioning, unlike in Fallout 3 where they aren't functioning. It's because there's some semblance of civilization and they're rebuilding in the Commonwealth or in the Massachusetts wasteland. And the reason I keep saying Massachusetts wasteland, it's not just going to take place in Boston. Remember, this is going to be the biggest Fallout game ever, actually Bethesda's biggest game ever. So it's not just going to be Boston, it's going to be the whole conurbation, the whole surrounding area. And I bet there'll be tons of places to explore. There's the bus, atomic powered bus. Can't wait to blow that up. And super mutants. How do I know it's a super mutant? Well, there's super mutant camp with the capture cages. I don't know what this is. Oh, it's the gore box, or it's the gore bags right here with tripe and bullocks. And scorched earth everywhere around it. But you take a look at the detail. I mean, it's much more detailed than the Capital Wasteland, and infinitely more detailed than Fallout New Vegas, which looks like Obsidian just decided to leave large parts of it absolutely bare with no detail at all. Boring. Okay, there's our clunky Protectron. Hello. Welcome to Boston, partner. Okay, so what is this? This is some kind of industrial city. Oh, there's the giveaway up there. Bay Center, whatever that is. I don't know what it is. It's probably shipyards. I would bet that these are shipyards because those are shipping containers. And of course, there's many ports in Boston Harbor. There's piers in Boston Harbor. I think there's a series of 40 of them. I don't know. I'm in San Francisco, and we have a good 40 ports around the peninsula of San Francisco. So, yeah, I think it is about like 40 or so. More atomic-powered cars. Anything else we can decipher from this little scene? Nope, that's it. The Protectron's got an upgrade. It looks even more like Robbie the Robot from Forbidden Planet now. In fact, it looks almost exactly like Robbie the Robot. Destroyed girder work. There's the crane. A lot of this stuff you won't be able to use, but oh look, there's a shamrock up here. I didn't notice that before. See, when you stop and take in the sights, all of a sudden you notice things. Shamrocks. Yeah, I don't know what it is. No, actually, drums are cool. It's a thirsty partner. Try Moriarty's coldest drinks in the capital wasteland. There's one of my favorite Protectron quotes is when you pull out a gun right in front of them. Y'all be careful about our weapon, you hear? It's funny. I bet you've never even heard that quote. I'll have to play it. Okay, here's a rusted out hull of a ship. It's either an aircraft carrier or a container ship. Looks like a container ship. Yeah. And then either a raider camp or something has been built atop it. Probably a raider camp. Yeah, I know those raiders. And then there's our, what's it called? Mirelurk. They're actually human-sized horseshoe crabs that were that came into being by way of the forced evolutionary virus, which is the FEV, right? Am I getting all this stuff right? I hope so, because I've got 30 people watching me. Okay. Let's keep going. Wasn't much. Okay, there you go. This is kind of like this reminds me a lot of Girder Shade, which is a tiny little hamlet underneath all of the, under an overpass like this. The overpass has got a slight overhaul so far. It looks like new modeling. There's the overpass. There's more like interstates. Let's look at this. I can't read that. Watch that. Diesel fuel. Diesel Nation. Diesel Nation, as far as I can tell. It's one of the, those gas stations will probably appear all over the place. Without any gas, they'll be decommissioned. There's no gas. You can't drill for oil. And post-apocalyptia, right? There's the Deathclaw. Deathclaw's got an upgrade. Scorched Earth, downed high-tension power towers. There's that swing set. It's an old Fallout 3 asset. See, so they are reusing some assets just to get the trailer out, I think. But I wonder why they did that so much. The ground looks better. There's a lot of parallax stuff going on. Okay, what's going on in here? You're gonna hear background stuff. You just have to focus on my voice, focus on me. You'll be okay. There it is, the SATCOM relay stations. They reused those too. It's like updated textures, but the models look a lot the same. There's missing panels out of the SATCOM relay towers. There's probably a lot of SATCOM relay stations that you can visit. Here's a control box. It's kind of like a control station, mobile control station, and here's like a stairway that goes up into something, probably the midsection of the towers, of the SATCOM towers, and a vertibird. I hope there's going to be more a variety of new weapons, aircraft, vehicles, and monsters, and everything else. But so far it looks like a lot of the same things that happened in the previous Fallout games. Maybe it's because Bethesda was too afraid to venture too far out from their cash cow, that model or that pattern of success. So they didn't want to reinvent everything. They just wanted to kind of capitalize on what already works. They already know that Fallout 3 works. Now this is interesting. It looks like some kind of super duper mart. It might be. There's those dang shopping carts again, and there's that dang skeleton. Skeletons. Wherever I go, whatever I do, there's always skeletons. There's a sale on something, I can't tell what, probably nuclear Kohler. Bombed out ceiling. These are not feral ghouls. They look like something different. They look like They look like reavers. They look like a combination of reaver, like centaurs, and ghoul reavers. That's really strange. Well, whatever it is, it's an abomination. You know, they're all grouped. A lot of these creepy monsters like this are grouped into a group of monsters called abominations. And a Deathclaw is clearly an abomination. A Mirelurk is also an abomination. What happened? Oh, don't worry. Everything's okay. I just accidentally clicked the beginning of the video again. Okay, so let's cycle through this again. We're almost to the point where we left off last time. Right here. Okay. So now we're at it's a baseball stadium. And we don't know what it will be called. Maybe Diamond Center, Diamond Field. What's it called in Boston? Oh, Fenway Park. That's right. Okay, I honestly, I had to look all this stuff up. I don't know about Fenway Park. It's the first I've ever heard of it, honestly. I know that's where the Red Sox are. I'm not very good at baseball. Trust me, I'm coming up to speed, so I'm learning about Fenway Park. But this is Fenway Park. Not necessarily. That logo is not necessarily their logo. It looks like something new. In fact, it is something new, but it hints that it's a baseball stadium. See? 4 bases. I don't know what the middle diamond would be for, but when I first saw this, I was thinking, oh, it's the Citadel. And this must be some new Brotherhood of Steel emblem, but it isn't. It's a city. It's like one of the settlements in Fallout 4. Fenway Park. And it's one of those mechanical doors that open, just like there were 2 mechanical doors that I remember in Fallout 3. That was the mechanical door for Rivet City, which is actually a whole swinging bridge. And then there's the mechanical door to the Citadel, which was the home of the Brotherhood of Steel. Much like this. That looks very much like the Citadel. Okay. We're almost done, guys. We don't have that much longer to go. How many people are here? 33? Wow. All right, so we're going, and then we're going to play Fallout 3 as soon as we're done with this. And I have the best looking Fallout 3 mod, or the modded extreme graphics install on YouTube. I swear it. Ask anyone in the chat who knows me; they'll say that it's the best. So we'll play some Fallout 3 right after this. Okay, look at this, swatters. This is the inside of what a Fenway Park. I don't know what it'll be called. Maybe it'll be called Diamond City, or what a Diamond Ton. Anything, Diamondton. Baseball bat store. That's cool. There's the little eye butt. Hey, eye butt. I don't know if it probably is an Enclave iBot, or maybe it was a Enclave iBot that was reprogrammed and repurposed. Let's see. What I can't really tell what this is over here. It looks like power. Oh, Power Noodle. It's a noodle shop. Hey. Okay, what is this? Oh, it is Diamond City. That's what it's called. The settlement is called Diamond City. Diamond City Surplus. That's like Craterside Supply and Megaton. With Moira Brown. No, Moira Brown will not appear here because there were 2 paths you could take with Moira. You could have nuked Megaton, in which case Moira turns into a ghoul. So, this game wouldn't know what you did. It'd have to ask you, oh, what did you do with Megaton, by the way? Did you destroy it or did you save it? This is Swatters, right? Yeah. Swatters. I have a feeling I know what's in Swatters. Chemicare. See, I told you, drugs are going to be in Fallout 4. That's your one-stop drug shop. Power Noodle. I can't wait to get my noodles on. Let's see, anything else? Well, there's the floodlights. See, it's a converted baseball stadium converted into. Oh, look at this! It's a nuke. It's a little rocket. I don't know. Does it have a name? Nope, I don't see any name. It's just there for looks, really. You know, everyone knows what happened to the wasteland, or what caused it. So maybe that's what's going on. It's just a little memorial. They worship nukes. Look at that, drugs. I love it. They just come right out and say, drugs. I wonder what this is. There were no actual pills that looked like that at Fallout, the previous Fallouts. Okay, this is my favorite so far. Gigantimous airship. Gigantic airship. It could be an Enclave airship. It could be a Commonwealth piece of technology. It could be a Commonwealth vehicle, which it probably is, actually. Ooh, perfect time. I lit it. The lightning lit up right when I clicked pause. Perfect. This is a statue in Boston. I can't remember what the statue is. Do you want to... Sorry. So, do you want me to find out what this is? I just need like one or two people to say yes, and then I'll find out what statue this is. There's those cool 19th century row houses. What were those old houses called in Boston? Kind of like townhouses. Yeah, well, that's what they're called. They're row houses. And in fact, you know, they're called row houses because they're very narrow, but they're very long, almost like a train carriage, like a car on a train. So that's why they started calling them row houses. Yeah, it could be the Paul Revere Monument. Let's see. It is. You're right. The Paul Revere Monument. Man, I really need to get my history on. Okay, I promise I'm going to learn all about Boston before, you know, within the next couple months. But anyway, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted it to be kind of collaborative since I don't know everything about Boston. You know, if it took place in San Francisco, I'd be all over this thing. I would have been up at 6 o'clock in the morning and already had 2 videos out about it because I know everything about San Francisco. I just don't know that much about Boston. Why couldn't it be in San Francisco? Bring it back to NCR. That's where NCR territory and like you know, the West, that's where Fallout started, right? Not on the East Coast. But anyway, yeah, so here's the row houses. There's some significance to this particular house. This airship is not necessarily shining spotlights down on the... Oh, yes, they are. Yes, it is. Almost like it's some kind of police state. It could be the Commonwealth. It could very well be a Commonwealth vehicle, like a patrol vehicle. Okay, now we're taking off from a neighborhood in Boston. We don't know which neighborhood yet. This says gasoline, diesel, fusion. Oh. So, Red Rocket. It's the Red Rocket gas stations. I think that's what they are, right? Red Rocket gas stations. Yes, the Red Rocket gas stations. And you can buy gasoline, you can buy diesel, and you can somehow buy probably deuterium or something. Or hydrogen. Actually, you could probably buy hydrogen isotopes for fusion engines. That's what's going on. So we didn't just have atomic-powered cars. There were still a lot that relied on fossil fuels. In fact, my friend and I are going to produce a video pretty soon that goes through all of that. You know, how feasible is Fallout 3 in real life. Okay, Red Rocket. Yeah, gasoline, diesel, fusion. Cool. Look at this. Galaxy News Network. Is it 3 dog? Or is the DJ 4 dog? Or 6 dog? Could you imagine have 6 dogs barking in the background? Fallowness. Fallow. What is that? I don't know what fallonness. Fall on is. It's like a pun to the Fallout franchise. This was something. What was this? Let's watch it again. Nope, I can't tell. It's probably just a government propaganda, right? Okay, there it is. All right, this is another shot of Boston. I need just a second to identify this. La 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 la. Hang on. Yeah, we had Fenway Park, we had that. There's the Massachusetts State House. That's what this is. And it's intact, and it's still got that gold leaf dome on the top. It's interesting that San Francisco has something somewhat like this, except our well, we don't have a state house, but we have a city hall that's much more ornate than this, much more gold leaf detail than the Massachusetts State House. Let's see. Let's look at these. I can't read that. I was trying to read this down here. Gray, blah 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 blah. Well, your guess is as good as mine. Uh-oh, I just messed up the whole video. Okay. Well, anyway, so this gives you some idea of just how big the explorable region of Boston will be. I'm sure you'll be able to explore all of this. The thing is that I don't know whether it's going to be split or whether it's going to be one continuous space inside Boston. I don't know yet. There's a tower. It'd be nice to be able to explore every single floor of the tower. We still haven't been able to do that yet. This is the closest thing we have to Tenpenny Tower, huh? Just a second. Okay, so moving along. Whoop, there it is. There's Vault 111, I think. This is probably Vault 111, if I'm not mistaken. There's no way to tell, is there? Oh, look, there's a lot of these ugly farmhouses, you know, these like suburban houses. They look almost exactly like the models in Fallout 3. They really need to update those. It looks boring. And then even the fences look almost the same. What the hell are they doing? What have they been doing for the last 6 years? God, update the fences at least. Okay, so this is the rusted Fallout. I mean the Vault Tech vault from this is in like 200 years in the future, roughly. You can't really tell which vault it was. Vault 111. I was right. It's Vault 111. So there's an entrance. There's a vertical, like a topside hatch here. Then there's also the vault entrance, which we saw earlier, that rolls into position. It's Vault 111. There's the power armor. There's a special type of power armor. Can't remember what kind of power armor that is, but it's a East Coast power armor. So the Brotherhood of Steel has many chapters. This is the like the Boston or the New England chapter, right? Yeah, you're right, Mr. Mustache. The graphics are kind of, it's not a disappointment, but I'm underwhelmed so far. I didn't have that Skyrim supernova explosion all over the keyboard and monitors and wall that that we all had when we saw Skyrim for the first time. But yeah, after it was done, I was thinking, oh, that's the end. They could have done a better job at like revealing this, I think. But nothing will compare to Skyrim for a long time. Not until we have true virtual reality, where like you can see, hear, feel things that are happening in the game, and even smell things. All right, so that's this was 2077, just before the bombs dropped. For some reason, this power armor, which is used by the U.S. government, maybe then contracted out to Vault-Tec soldiers. Maybe they're guarding the entrance, so people without, only the authorized people who bought spaces in the vaults could enter. And then here we see the best nuclear explosion so far in a Fallout game, before they even got a chance to go in the vault. It almost looks like they shut the vault door just before these guys got there, so maybe they were all too late. And that's the thing, it's like you can't get a refund. If you're too late, they close the vault door, then you can't get a refund because, well, that's the end. Or it's not the end, but it's the end of, it's the beginning of it's the end of the beginning. There, that's what I wanted to show you. So there's Dogmeat 2.0 with an incomplete, like a set of power armor still under construction. Interesting, eh? Now let's take a look at all this stuff. So here's a little bit of they kind of showed off all the assets. Here is the minigun. There's the minigun. Here are shells, the little ammo box of shells. So shotguns would be in the game. There's the energy weapons. I don't know what this is. Watch this. This is a it's a pulse weapon. There's a laser weapon. This is a huge laser rifle. There's plasma rifles, of course. Here's a saw. And it's just bizarre. And there's that same fan. See, they're using the same Fallout 3 assets as... I need to update those. There's my bobblehead. It's... Okay, just a minute. Yeah, and then this is a generic bobblehead. Vault-Tec bobblehead. I don't think that's assigned to any perk. I'm trying to remember. I mean, I bought some of the bobbleheads from the Bethesda store, so I'm aware of all these. I think, this guy's just got a thumbs up. I think that's the generic bobblehead. I'm pretty sure it is. And then here's ammo boxes. Oh, look over here. There's Nuka-Cola in the style of Coca-Cola clocks. Coca-Cola would often supply restaurants with free Coca-Cola clocks like this, and they had neon lights around them because it promotes Coca-Cola. Interesting marketing techniques, right? There's a paint gun. Watch this. It looks like fission battery, which are kind of fictitious. We're going to talk about that in the Fallout series that I'm making. Are fission batteries really viable? No, they're not. But, well, no, I shouldn't spoil it. We're going to talk all about it. Here's a Nuka-Cola sign. Yeah, there'll probably be many flavors of Nuka-Cola, or many types of radioisotope Nuka-Colas. There was Nuka-Cola Victory that, I think it was Victory, or Nuka-Cola... There was a Nuka-Cola in Fallout 3 that had a radioactive isotope, but it was tragically never released because it was in 2077 that they were deploying it, and then here's skill books. Can we read those? Can we make those out? There's Grognak the Barbarian. There's Guns and Bullets. There's the one with Mr. Gutsy in there. I just can't read them. And, oh, it's awesome. Maybe awesome stories or something. Yeah, Grognak. Guns and Bullets. This is interesting over here. Look at this. This could be a list of all the perks. I don't know if that's true. 4, 5, 6. That's a lot of perks in the game. If those were all perks, well, maybe they are. This is the biggest game ever, so maybe those are all perks over there. Was there anything else to dissect in here? Nope, I think that was it, right? Anyone want to take a stab at what exactly what type of power armor this is? Blah, 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 blah. Oh yeah, you're right. That was Wonder Glue. Schultz 961. Wonder Glue is up at the top, second to the top shelf, I think. Oh, there is a Pip-Boy. We'll show you in a second. Where is... Okay, what type of power armor? Okay, I'm finding the type of power armor. Hang on. And I'm just looking through the Wikipedia I had bookmarked from a long time ago to figure out what kind of power armor. It actually is kind of like the T-47 power armor, but there's a couple of components that are different. So it's probably a new set of power armor that's based on the T-51B, parts of the T-51B, and the T-47, I think. Yeah. Pretty sure. Then there's also T-45D. It actually, yeah, and that's the T-45D is among the most boring of them, but I think it's probably a new version. It takes a little bit from the T-47, T-45D, and T-51B power armor. They all have a slightly different look. T-45D, I think that appeared in Fallout New Vegas. And then, of course, there was this tribal power armor, which I wear. You know, my character wears right now. In fact, when we go into Fallout 3, you'll see the tribal armor. Or it's Asher's power armor, which is an upgraded version, and it's got this skull. It's got a skull right on the crotch. I don't know what that's all about, but that's slightly different. See, so there's many different types of power armor. This is probably just a new one. In fact, I hope we see a lot of new stuff, not just recycling everything in the lore already, right? Well, it actually is a little bit different than the T-51B. Like these Popeye arms, look, it's like Popeye the Sailor Man. Well, we could Falloutize the Popeye song if we wanted. I mean, look, it looks like Popeye's arms. T-51B power armor didn't have that. Yeah, oh yeah, don't worry. I'm sure Enclave armor will be in here, but there should be some new Commonwealth armor. I'm sure the Commonwealth released all sorts of new armor. Probably to put on their androids, because they wanted to build this android army, which we didn't get to see in Fallout 3 because it was just too graphics intensive. Okay, that's enough for that scene. That was a Red Rocket gas station. It was probably the maintenance facility in the Red Rocket gas station, and that's what it was. There's Dogmeat 2.0. And here comes the protagonist. And there's the Pip-Boy. You were wondering about the Pip-Boy? Well, there it is. Yay! It's the Pip-Boy. Doggy meat. And then look, our protagonist emerged out of Vault 111. See, so the baby we saw at the beginning was probably the protagonist. Those were his parents. They all were able to get into Vault 111. At some point in his early adulthood, he exits the vault. Probably his parents are either dead or they're wandering around the wasteland trying to do some good, like in Fallout 3, like Liam Neeson did in Fallout 3. There's the Boston skyline in the background, or what's left of it. It's strange that the Boston skyline doesn't look like the real Boston skyline. I mean, the real Boston skyline is really built up now. There's a hulk of a train, like one of those monorail trains. Remember those? There's a monorail tracks all around the Capital Wasteland. There was probably monorail lines also in the Massachusetts, a Commonwealth conurbation. There it is. We got all the way through it. Now that we're done with the trailer, now I'm going to show you my Fallout 3 installation, and we're going to play a little bit in Fallout 3. 32 people here. I'm really happy. I really appreciate every